In a bustling city in the Philippines, Joshua Cruz owned a cozy restaurant called Sweet Memoir. It wasn't just any restaurant. It was his pride, built from years of hard work after growing up in poverty. Joshua had come a long way from his childhood, where he and his mother scavenged for scraps to survive. Now, as the CEO of his own restaurant chain, he had everything he once dreamed of: success, savings, and a beautiful home. But deep down, something was missing. His heart still ached for his ex-wife, Melody Santos, and the life they could have had. 5 years ago, Joshua and Melody divorced. Their marriage had started with love, but Joshua's obsession with work tore them apart. He was so afraid of returning to poverty that he buried himself in his restaurant business, leaving Melody feeling alone. She had been a nurse in the U.S., but after marrying Joshua, she gave up her career to be a housewife, hoping for a happy family. Instead, she felt neglected. They never had children because Joshua insisted they wait until they were financially secure. But even when his business thrived, it was never enough. Melody grew tired of waiting, and after years of silence between them, she asked for a divorce. Joshua fought it at first, but when he saw her unhappiness, he let her go. She returned to the Philippines, and he stayed in the U.S., throwing himself deeper into work. One sunny afternoon, as Joshua was checking the menu at his new Sweet Memoir branch in Manila, 3 young boys peered through the restaurant's glass window. Their clothes were dirty, their faces smudged, and they carried a sack that looked heavy. Joshua smiled, charmed by their curious eyes. He stepped outside. "Hey kids, what are you looking at? Hungry?" he asked warmly. The chubbiest boy, Kurt, spoke up. "No, sir, we already ate. We're just checking the price of okonomiyaki." Joshua raised an eyebrow. Okonomiyaki wasn't a popular dish in the Philippines, and it was pricey. "Why okonomiyaki?" he asked. "It's our mom's favorite," said Kevin, the oldest. "Her birthday's coming up, and we want to get her one as a gift. She's been through a lot raising us." Joshua's heart softened. "You're too young to be worrying about money. Shouldn't you be playing or at school?" he asked, noticing their worn-out clothes. "We help Mom earn money," said Kenneth, the youngest, shyly. "We collect junk to sell." Joshua felt a pang in his chest. He remembered his own childhood, scavenging to help his mother. "You know what? I own this place, and I'll give you an okonomiyaki for free for your mom's birthday. How's that?" The boys' eyes lit up, and they nearly jumped with joy. "Really, sir? Thank you," they said in unison. Joshua chuckled and invited them inside for ice cream. "We make it here ourselves," he said proudly, serving them cones. The boys devoured the treat, their faces glowing. "This is the best ice cream ever," Kenneth exclaimed. As they ate, Joshua asked, "What's your mom's name?" "Mel," Kevin replied. "Her birthday is September 12th. Joshua froze. September 12th was Melody's birthday. And okonomiyaki? That was her favorite dish, but only the way he made it, spicy with extra cheese, a recipe he created just for her. No one else ordered it that way. His mind raced, but he brushed it off as a coincidence. "Come back on her birthday, okay? I'll have the dish ready," he said. The boys thanked him and left, laughing and chasing each other down the street. Joshua watched them go, a strange feeling stirring in his chest. They reminded him of himself at their age, full of life despite their struggles. Over the next few weeks, the triplets, Kurt, Kevin, and Kenneth, visited Sweet Memoir often. Joshua grew fond of them, giving them snacks and chatting about their lives. They told him about their mom, Mel, who worked hard washing clothes to support them. They never mentioned a father, and Joshua didn't pry. But every time they talked about their mom's love for spicy, cheesy okonomiyaki, his suspicion grew. Could their mom be Melody? The thought seemed impossible, but the clues kept piling up. One day, Joshua decided to follow the boys home after they left his restaurant. He stayed at a distance, watching as they walked through narrow streets to a small, rundown shack. His heart sank when he saw a woman step outside with a laundry basket. It was Melody. She looked tired, her hands rough from work, but it was her. Joshua's throat tightened. She was struggling, and he hadn't known. He thought back to the night before she left for the Philippines 5 years ago. They'd both been drinking, and in a moment of weakness, they'd been together one last time. Could the boys be his? Joshua drove away, his mind spinning. He needed answers. He collected a cup one of the boys had used and some hair from his car, and sent them for a DNA test. He felt guilty doing it secretly, but he had to know. If they were his sons, why hadn't Melody told him? They hadn't parted as enemies. She'd even refused alimony, which he'd offered to help her start over. A few weeks later, the boys showed up at the restaurant, but only 2 of them, Kevin and Kurt. "Where's Kenneth?" Joshua asked, worried. "He's in the hospital," Kevin said, his voice small. "He had a bad asthma attack. It's crowded there, and he's not getting enough care. We came to ask for help, sir. We'll wash dishes to pay you back." Joshua didn't hesitate. "You don't owe me anything. Let's go!" He drove them to St. Joseph's Medical Center, where he found Kenneth on a stretcher, struggling to breathe through an oxygen mask. Joshua's heart broke. He spotted Melody in the hallway, pleading with the doctor. "Please, my son needs help," she cried. "We're overloaded," the doctor said. "He's stable with oxygen, but you'll have to wait." "I'll take care of it," Joshua said, stepping forward. Melody's eyes widened in shock. "Joshua? What are you doing here?" "No time to explain. Kenneth needs better care." He arranged to transfer Kenneth to a private hospital with top specialists. In the car, Melody was quiet, her face a mix of gratitude and confusion. At the new hospital, Kenneth was treated immediately and stabilized in a private room. In the cafeteria, Joshua and Melody finally talked. "How did you meet the boys?" she asked. "They came to my restaurant, looking at the okonomiyaki price for their mom's birthday," he said. "They said her name was Mel. I started to suspect, and today they asked for help." "Melody, are they my sons?" She looked away, then sighed. "Yes, Joshua. They're yours. I found out I was pregnant after I left the U.S. I didn't tell you because I thought you'd moved on. I saw you with that chef on social media. I didn't want to interfere." Joshua's heart sank. "Melody, I never cheated. That chef and I only got together months after our divorce, and it didn't last. I've always loved you." Before they could say more, Kevin and Kurt appeared. "Uncle Jay, are you our dad?" Kevin asked, eyes wide. Joshua knelt down. "Yes, I'm your father. I didn't know about you, but now that I do, I'll never leave you." The boys hugged him, tears streaming down their faces. Melody watched, her eyes moist. "I'm sorry, boys. I thought I was protecting you. We could have had a dad sooner," Kurt said, hurt. But they hugged her too, forgiving her. Joshua offered for them to move into his large home temporarily, especially since Kenneth needed a clean environment for his asthma. Melody hesitated but agreed for the boys' sake. The triplets were thrilled, especially when they saw the backyard with swings, a slide, and a treehouse. "Dad, is this really our house?" Kevin asked. "It's yours now, too," Joshua said, his voice thick with emotion. Melody, however, kept her distance. "We're only staying until I find a job and a place," she told Joshua. "You're their father, and I won't stop you from seeing them, but there's nothing to fix between us." Joshua was hurt but didn't push. He focused on bonding with the boys, taking them to parks and treating them to meals. The DNA test confirmed they were his, but he already knew in his heart. He took a break from work to spend time with them, determined to be the father they deserved. One evening at the pool, tension flared. Melody caught Kenneth swimming and panicked. "Joshua, his asthma. Why are you letting him swim at night?" "Swimming helps his lungs," Joshua said, but Melody was furious. "You don't know what it's like to raise them. Where were you when they needed you?" "I'm trying now," Joshua shot back. "And you think I cheated, but I didn't. I loved you, Melody, and I still do." Kenneth, upset, climbed out of the pool. "Stop fighting, please." As Joshua moved to comfort him, he slipped on wet clay and hit his head. The boys screamed, and Melody rushed to him, terrified. "Joshua, stay with me," she cried as they waited for an ambulance. At the hospital, Joshua was fine, no fractures, just a bad bump. "You scared me," Melody admitted. "I thought I'd lose you before I could apologize." "Would you have missed me?" he asked softly. "For the kids," she said, but her eyes betrayed more. Days later, as Joshua recovered, he and Melody talked again. "I'm sorry," she said. "My pride kept me from seeing the bigger picture. I focused on what I didn't get from you." "I failed you too," Joshua said. "I thought money was everything, but without you, it meant nothing." He pulled out her old engagement ring. "Will you marry me again, Melody? I promise to be better, for you and the boys." Tears fell as she nodded. "Yes, Joshua. I never stopped loving you." He slipped the ring on her finger, and the boys ran up, cheering. "You're marrying Dad again?" they asked, jumping with joy. A year later, Joshua and Melody remarried in a simple ceremony in the Philippines. Melody returned to nursing, and Joshua balanced his business with family time. The triplets' last names were changed to Cruz, and they thrived in their new home. Joshua learned that love and time were more valuable than wealth, and Melody let go of her pride to embrace their second chance. Their story spread in their community, inspiring others. It showed that mistakes don't define you. You can change, forgive, and rebuild. Joshua's restaurant became a place where families gathered, and the triplets often helped out, serving ice cream with smiles. Through love, resilience, and second chances, they became a complete family, proving that when you hold on to what matters, life finds a way to bring you back together. As Joshua and Melody remarried in their simple yet heartfelt ceremony, the triplets, Kurt, Kevin, and Kenneth, stood proudly by their side, dressed in matching white shirts. The small church was filled with close friends, neighbors, and some of Joshua's restaurant staff. The air buzzed with joy, and even the simplest decorations, white flowers and ribbons, felt special. Melody's friend Stella, the triplets' godmother, wiped tears as she watched the family unite. "You did it, Mel," she whispered. "You found your way back." After the wedding, life settled into a new rhythm. Melody returned to nursing at a local hospital, grateful to use her skills again. The pay wasn't as high as in the U.S., but it gave her purpose, and she felt stronger knowing Joshua supported her. Joshua, meanwhile, managed Sweet Memoir with a new perspective. He trained his assistant chef to handle more responsibilities, freeing him to spend evenings with his family. He'd learned that no amount of success could replace time with the ones he loved. The triplets thrived in their new home. The mansion's backyard became their playground, where they swung on the swings, climbed the treehouse, and splashed in the pool, carefully, to protect Kenneth's asthma. Joshua and Melody made sure the boys went to a good school nearby. For the first time, they didn't have to scavenge or worry about money. But Melody taught them to stay humble. "Never forget where we came from," she'd say. "Be grateful for what you have, and help others when you can." One evening, as the family sat around the dinner table, Kevin looked at his parents. "Mom, Dad, can we do something special for other kids like us?" he asked. "You know, the ones who don't have much?" Joshua and Melody exchanged a glance, proud of their son's big heart. "What do you have in mind?" Joshua asked. "Maybe we can give free food at the restaurant," Kurt suggested. "Like how you gave us ice cream, Dad." Kenneth nodded. "And maybe school supplies for kids who can't afford them." "I know how hard it is when you don't have enough." Melody's eyes welled up. "That's a wonderful idea, boys. Let's make it happen." Inspired by the triplets, Joshua launched a program at Sweet Memoir called Hope Plates. Every Sunday, the restaurant offered free meals to children from poor families in the community. Joshua and the boys served the food themselves, chatting with the kids and their parents. Melody organized drives for school supplies, using her hospital connections to reach families in need. The triplets helped pack notebooks, pencils, and backpacks, their faces glowing with pride. The program grew, and soon, other businesses in the city joined in. Sweet Memoir became more than a restaurant. It was a symbol of hope. People shared stories of how Joshua and Melody's kindness changed their lives. One mother, whose son received a backpack, told Melody, "Your family gave us more than supplies. You gave us hope that things can get better." One day, as Joshua watched the triplets play with other kids at a Hope Plates event, he pulled Melody aside. "I used to think money was the answer to everything," he said. "But seeing these kids smile, seeing our boys so happy, it's worth more than anything I ever chased." Melody squeezed his hand. "We both made mistakes, Joshua. But we learned what really matters. This, our family, these kids, this love, it's enough." As the sun set, the family stood together, watching children laugh and eat. The triplets ran up, hugging their parents. "We're a team, right?" Kevin said. "Always," Joshua replied, ruffling his hair. Years later, Sweet Memoir expanded across the Philippines, but Joshua and Melody never lost sight of their purpose. They raised the triplets to be kind, hardworking, and grateful. Kurt became a chef, trained by his father. Kevin studied to be a teacher, wanting to help kids like him. Kenneth, whose asthma improved with better care, dreamed of being a doctor to help others stay healthy. Their stories spread far beyond their city, inspiring people to value love over pride, family over wealth, and second chances over past regrets. Joshua and Melody proved that no matter how far you stray, love can bring you back. They taught their children, and the world, that the greatest success is a life filled with purpose, kindness, and time spent with those you love.